report it to your master. We do not like thieves. It is against our culture. It is against our tradition. And when you steal from us, we take the good act. Now, why am I saying this? These things I'm telling you are very important. They are close to my heart. I can remember that the last time I cried, maybe it's more than 30 years ago. But when those things are so deep, you cannot help it. Human suffering. So we cannot suffer like that. And then you think it is normal. And then we are talking about the student state, and people have time to be talking about their personal needs, what they like or do not like, whom they like or hate. It is not done. Before I sit down, there is a message I have for you. That message is simple, it is straightforward. The last item I came here to do was to warn the southern Cameroonian diaspora. After my party, after the government of La République du Cameroon, my French is very good, after my warning to them, my last warning is to the southern Cameroonian diaspora. Take it or leave it. If you do not come together immediately and start the hard work from the back room and resetting the foundation and going into every nook and cranny to make sure that you get your revolution right, wait for the consequences. You have no choice. You have no choice but to come together. That is why I'm here. Because I want us across the world to make that effort to come together. People were saying, oh, the world is waiting. They need to hear from you. I do not make declarations. That's the difference between the rest of you and me. But my bag is full with ideas and research. When you get everybody together on the table, ask Wirba, what do you have? I will bring it. Yes. I will bring it. Because I don't get into this kind of reasoning where we have such serious business and people think that we can play with it. People think that we can play with it. You set your values upside down. We natives and warriors, the reason we go and fight and die is because we want to protect the weak. That's the reason. So our values have been turned on its head because people's value for money is too high. And their value for humanity is too low. I am telling you this because that is the most dangerous thing we have learned from almost 60 years of oppression. You have only learned the bad habits of your oppressor.
Of the thief.
Of the thief. That's a good reminder. Now, we have to put away these habits. Why am I saying this? My brothers and sisters, I do not threaten people. I only say my say. I have come here to check the facts because I check everything before I do. When I checked what the ministers of Cameroon thought of us, I realized they had no value for us. And I could now be talking to them in their assembly with full strength. And I was quoting people who are alive. So if you want to contest, see me. I will give you the date. I will give you what I recorded. It's in my diary. And I will tell you, this man said this to me. And I always made sure I don't meet you alone. Because you will start saying, hey, it's a lie. When I come and he says, no, it's two of us. No, Mr. Minister, you are a big man. We cannot hold, I want somebody to take notes. Why? Because you need a witness in all of those things. So what I'm telling you today is, in my effort, if for all the acclaim you gave that, oh, Wirba has done a wonderful thing. Oh, he has said this thing that nobody's ever said. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I did not say it so that you praise me. I did not. I said it so that it could help liberate our people. It was a resounding objection of oppression. And they were not just oppressing me, they were oppressing all our people. That is why I said it. So I'm now saying your own truth, that you are on a highway to fly over the cliff. If you don't stop, bring everybody together, sit around the same room and on the same table, and say, sister, brother, we've been stopped. Because until any man can kick himself on the butt for being stupid, he does not progress, he does not learn. I am saying this for one simple reason. If we as a people fail to come together, which is principle, and I want to make a reference to the people at home, anxiously waiting to hear what the rest of our brothers and sisters will do while they are being killed and buried in mass graves. I am telling you, I did not do anything to get praise. I did not do it to get benefit. I did not do it to get recognition. I told you I did it so that our people could get the courage to say no to being oppressed. I am now telling you that if you fail in the coming months, in the coming weeks and months, we are going to urgently need to come around the same table and put down a system, a strategic plan, a program. Because things work as a result of hard work, not the result of random pronouncements. They don't take you anywhere. If you refuse to get to the table, you are not going to have meal. If you get to the table and cannot listen to the plight of the people suffering and dying down there, you won't have me. You know the reason? Because if you cannot pull together, it means that we stand a chance of a failed revolution. And when it fails, I can guarantee you, people were spitting on our faces. They will put their feces and order you to eat. You won't have me in a failed system. You won't have me in a disunited front. That is the best way to die quick and to die fast and to disappoint our people. If you can't sit on that table, if we can't come to conclusions to start the hard work, then, because I didn't do it for myself, and I'm vowing to the people on the ground and honoring them, I'm vowing to you in the diaspora, I will retire from both the revolution and from politics, because I cannot be part of a broken calabash. I cannot stand it. If you can't do it, I will step back, continue the work I have been doing for charity, since I'm a foolish man anyway, because smart people are supposed to be hiding their money somewhere, you know, to build the next mansion and to make the next plan. I will focus on that so that my heart can have peace, because the pain on the ground is too much. The suffering is unbearable. The death is unacceptable. And you, me, the rest of us around the world have to make it right in honor of those people. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. While we keep standing, can you hold the hand of your neighbor and say, we are one, yeah, we are together, we are one. Southern Cameroon, are we together? We are one, yeah, we are together, we are one. Oh, Ambazonia, are we together? We are one, yeah, we are together, we are one. Oh, West Cameroon, are we together? We are one, yeah, we are together, we are one. Oh, our people, are we together? We are one, yeah, we are together, we are one. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Take your seats. We have listened. There is no need to comment on what we have heard. I am sure in the days ahead, we are going to be quoting some of the things that were said here. Like Honorable said, if you expect me to come and tell you what I've got in my bag, in the public or in the market square, count me out. If you want to know what I have inside my bag, let us sit and strategize and talk. So enough of talk about what do you want and what do you have and what is your strategy. I think someone asked me this question with your permission. What are we coming to buy? What is the price of the book? I was confused. And I didn't know what price to give. I didn't know what to say. And I said, going through the university and reading all the books that were used to brainwash me by La République du Cameroon, I think the price of this book is the price of the revolution. I think you will agree with me that the book we are about to unveil here today is not just a book, but it is the revolution. It is the revolution. It is the revolution. And what price will you pay for this revolution? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Emma, thank you so much. I honestly don't have a price to pay because it is so valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank Honorable so much. Very deep words, and I hope that we are really going to take the message home into our hearts. And of course, he's given us weeks. He hasn't given us months, just weeks. Professor Anyangwe is here with us now, and we would like to invite Prof to just address us for a little bit.
Royal Highness Chief Funky, ladies and gentlemen, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. It is our duty to resist that injustice. And I have by me a noble friend. We have traveled a long road together since our SDF days. All of you know about the SDF. You all know what has happened within the SDF and some of the things we did individually. And it's my singular pleasure to see that many of us are indeed standing up for justice, the right of our people, which is what actually was the founding force, the creation of the SDF. I'm happy that dream did not die. That dream has survived, and that dream was going to be realized by us. I've always said we have a duty, this generation. We are never going to pass that task to the coming generation. We must make sure we get into our own inheritance as a people. Nobody can match the eloquence of Joseph here. The passion with which he speaks, the conviction with which he makes his delivery. Whether standing there in front of that parliament in the lion's den and making that eloquent speech which he made, which galvanized our people, which moved our people at a time when I would say people were beginning to flag down a little bit and say, well, it looked like defeat is staring at us in the face. But he rallied us around by his stirring speech, not only once, twice, and even with the thread that was hanging over his head. Some of you might not know the things he has endured, and for all of you who know that system, a system that has lived on violence, and its governing principle is the fear of the gendarme. That's what they believe in. France itself is exactly a country of violence. And that is why they've always hero worship those violent heads of state. Napoleon is the history, they worship him. De Gaulle, they worship him. These are the kind of leadership we have in France. And that has been transposed in French Cameroon. Unfortunately, we got associated with them somehow. I've all seen since 1961 how batches and batches of our people have been kidnapped and taken over there, others killed, others tortured, others imprisoned under life-threatening circumstances. Some survived, some did not survive. That is our history, a history of agony, a history of sorrow. But we are saying, like my friend said, we need to do one little thing. Get our act together, united as a people, with a common vision and determination to end this whole thing. It is my honor and privilege to be here at this particular book launching occasion. The book has been written with exactly the same passion you hear him speaking here. And nobody else is better qualified to tell the story you find in that book than himself. He's been through the thick and thin of it. Faced the enemy, French Cameroon, and sometimes considered by his own colleagues as something of a heretic. Nevertheless, he decided to fight on. You'll find in that book the words and the story of a man with conviction, with passion. It's an excellent delivery in that book. And I just want to say that one thing that gives me pleasure is the fact that for some time now, we've seen a revival, an interest in writing and reading amongst our people. This is a culture which had almost been destroyed by French Cameroon. In our good old days, when we had our state, there was a blossoming of newspapers, you all remember. And our people had a habit. Newspapers were being delivered in people's homes. People can never remember that. If you went to any of our homes in those days, the pride was to see the bookshelf. We saw books, encyclopedias, because our people had a culture of reading and writing. That culture was systematically destroyed. Through censorship, if you all remember, some of you will remember, how systematically newspapers were destroyed. We are talking about the Cameroon Times, we are talking about the Iroko, we are talking of the Herald. All these papers were destroyed because Ahidjo instituted a censorship system. If you wrote anything which was against the regime, the newspaper was banned. You were not allowed to listen to certain radio stations outside. It was banned. Books even were banned. Certain literature were banned. I, for example, innocent were still in secondary school and Form 2 or Form 3. There was a little red book, some of you must have seen it, called Quotation from Chairman Mao. It's a small little thing like that. One of the things we learned about is America is paper tiger. A small little thing. And we were found reading that literature. That earned us a suspension for 2 months from secondary school. And if you think about it, most of us didn't even know what China was, but for children who were growing up, that was an excitement to read some little things. But you can imagine that literature was censored, was amongst the banned books. And if you remember an author like the late Abemoko, prisoner without a crime, was banned. You couldn't read it. If you were found with it, you went to the one of the detention center, BMM and all those places, which they had spread all over the whole place. But a business books, they were plays. You think that those will be safe. No. They were banned. You couldn't perform his plays. I'm citing this example to show you that the culture which our people had of reading and producing books and literature began to die. And therefore equalizing us with our own illiteracy, which was over there, because they were not as literate as we were. Happily, there is now a resurgence, an interest in reading and writing. And our people are writing. This is the latest on the line of the books about our present predicament. And I'm sure there will be more that are going to come in the days ahead. More and more people. We always see the white people are amazed. You have an English politician. He leaves office. 1 or 2 months later, he said, produce a book. Or an American. How do these people write and are unable to write? So, as we are here to launch this book today, I challenge all of us, here present and not present, you can make your own contribution in our history, in our literature, by writing down your experiences, the kind of things you've gone through, what you've read. Together we'll begin to build up our history, our literature. Because, like, I think it was the MC who made a point, most of us, you went to what they call Cameroon history. Where does it begin? They tell you, lyingly, that it began in 1884. Oh, German came and colonized Cameroon in 1884. Then after that, they skip. The next thing is Ahidjo, having independence. Then, of course, since this Bia of a fellow came, that's the next chapter. Bia, who said, I brought you democracy. Everybody forgot, and they don't know that long before they start talking about 1884, we already had Victoria, which was founded in 1850. What? 1858. Long before them. And in Bimbia, already the British were signing treaties with Chief Williams of Bimbia in 1846. So how come they come and tell us to believe that our history began with them in 1884? So I just said this thing to show that we have a lot to do, to write. I want to end this out by doing a little ceremony, which, if I may ask Joe to stand up a little bit. This is a mark of honor, and for those of you who are tradition-minded, who know some of these things, and down in the south, this thing is a sign of royalty and a sign of respect and a sign of honor. And this evening, I think we're honoring a brother, a gentleman, a fighter, and through this we want to encourage him to keep on the fight, uniting us, so that together we can deliver our country once more. Thank you.
Put your hands together for Professor Anyangwe. Put your hands together. Thank you so much, Professor.
Nkosi.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands again together for everyone that has spoken here today. We have heard these stories. We continue to hear them. It looks like it's the first time we are getting them because of the hunger and desire to liberate homeland. We've been told that some people are itchy to know what is inside the boxes, and we equally know that we have to eat. But we cannot do that without doing the dirty job, like Honorable said. It's the dirty job and hard work that matters, and that's how we're going to start with the book. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'm going to invite Dr. Mufo Augustine, who is going to coordinate the launch of the revolution. That's how I call it, because it's not just a book. It is the revolution, and it's the false reawakening. Dr. Augustine Mufo, you wonder how Honorable Wirba has been surviving and working and doing the things. He has been one of the persons that has been working in the background and helping. Thank you so much, Doctor, because you are part of us. He is here to coordinate this part of the program.
Southern Cameroons, oye. West Cameroon, oye. Ambazonia, oye. In fact, I don't want to speak like Honorable who stood there and spoke all this long. To just make it short, I will go through some points which I have written, because I am talking here on behalf of the coordination team that is around Honorable Wirba. So I wish to greet again our distinguished invitees, our dear friends in the UK, and even those who have come from Germany like myself, dear comrades, this book launch. So your presence here is an enrichment to us all who strive to free ourselves from an oppressive system. I'll take some time to explain to you just briefly how we came to this book, so that you know what happened behind the scenes. Now, after Honorable Wirba's memorable speech in Cameroon's parliament on the 2nd of December 2016, many of us were overwhelmed with the enormous momentum that his speech added to the struggle for freedom for the people of Southern Cameroons that had lasted already more than 55 years. Many of us here in the diaspora were eager to support him in one way or the other, and a few others and myself became part of this support team. It was the time when the government of Cameroon had started arresting leaders. Honorable Wirba insisted to stay at home, but some of us insisted that he has to get to safety so that many will not become disillusioned because of his imminent arrest. As one of those who insisted that keeping safe is better than staying in detention, I drew my inspiration from the Bakweri wrestling tradition. You know, I grew up in the Bakweri land, and I'm married to a Bakweri woman. And that tradition is called Palapala. So, when you are fighting with a strong opponent, you don't allow him to put his head under your armpit. We call it in Bakweri land, don't allow him to tie you mongombo. Because if he ties you mongombo, there is no way you can fight this fight. So, it will become much more difficult for you to fight. So it is preferable to dodge and hit when you can in order to keep the fight going until you win. That is why we are able to launch this book today here in London, and this is part of the resistance. One of the major things we did was to support in keeping him safe as he was being hunted down by the government of Cameroon. He insisted to return to Cameroon's parliament in June 2017, although this was the most dangerous thing to do at the time, because his wish was not to fight from outside, but to take the fight to the oppressor. So I paid him a visit in Jakiri amidst tight security sometime August 2017. And I remember he told me while sitting in his parlor that, Mofo, if you can come right from where you have left to come and see me here in this Jakiri, it means we shall win this fight. You remember? And he reminded me that we must keep up with the resistance. So we discussed about the work of a charity organization, Cora, under his leadership, that helps to screen women on pre-stages of cervical cancer and to facilitate treatment of affected women. We also discussed about the ongoing situation in southern Cameroon. We recognized that the government of Cameroon's approach has been to prevent southern Cameroonians from knowing the truths about the relationship between southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroon since 1961, namely a nation, Republic of Cameroon, built on falsehood. Since that government resorts to killing the message by targeting the messengers, it would be of high added value to put up a book based on facts and simple logic that would present the truths about this relationship, thus encouraging southern Cameroonians and other interested readers and stakeholders to know and stand for the truth, because only the truth shall set us free. Many of you also share this view, as you will see in the acknowledgement of that book. Considering information reaching us that the book earmarked for publishing was already banned, and how far the government of Cameroon can go to destroy such a project, we had to take extra precautionary measures to make this project a success. Honorable Wirba, while being haunted, had to take long moments of silence wherever he found himself for safety reasons to write this book. As you know, safety and security can cost a whole fortune. Since I accompanied the project closely, I can tell you that very huge sums of money have been borrowed to take this project to this stage. Writing, production of the book, and taking all books to safe places. Much money is still needed for future engagements that should help bring lasting solution to the current conflict and hence freedom to the people of southern Cameroon, especially now that he is here in the diaspora and can push the revolution with more safety. Dear friends, fellow comrades, 2 years ago, or just a few weeks ago, we would never have imagined Honorable Wirba being in our diaspora community, but many of us expressed and are still expressing the will to support in his effort. Now is the time. I have mentioned a few things, a few details about this book project to make you know some of the challenges which are there for a man who has sacrificed his normal life, his normal family life with his dependents by speaking truth to power. It is time for us to demonstrate our readiness to support now that he is amongst us. So let's not focus simply on the amount of paper that was used to produce this book or on how much similar books cost in the market. My appeal to us all is that we should rather focus on what we can really contribute through this book to reduce the existing burden on him so that he can sustain himself, his family, and move on with his that he was doing so far. Once more, thanks to the team that has been working around him. Many of them are here in the hall, nearly everyone, and many others who cannot be here were in other continents. And thank you also to the comrades in the UK who took time to organize this occasion and ensure that we have this wonderful participation. Thanks for all the work, again, that you have done to make this launch possible. And to you all who have come, thank you very, 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 very much for your attention and for your participation today. Thank you. Now, we will go straight to the book proper. Do we have one copy which is already open? This is one I brought. Okay, I can take this one. So,
no, Doc, you cannot just take a book.
Yes, that's why I say you give me one.
Yes,
Give
definitely.
me one.
Right, gentlemen, this is how we're going to conduct this. We've got 1,000 copies here which have to go tonight. 1,000 copies, and they have to go tonight, okay? So we're going to have a process in a minute.
Please wait. We have not come to that. Give me one of the books. Give me one of the books. You handle that. Just let us say, let me use this one. Let me just say a few words about the book. I'm saying it also so that you know what we have. Because as I said, we already got some comments, discussions about the book, the price of the book, and all whatnot. This is the book that you see here. It is, all the books are sealed in plastic bag. If you remove the and they have a binding. So if you remove that plastic bag, you have this book as it is. And what you find is that there is another, what we call it, at-home jacket, which you can take out. And then you have a book, I call it of the best, 120 colored images. Color. You know what it means to print in color. And it is hardcover. You can see. So it will not even get back. This is the quality that we have. And at least you see how it looks like. For you to get a bit of more insight about the content, I will call